Good morning, Bookie Monsters. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. Keo needed to go outside. He's not normally a morning person, so I don't know what's going on there. Good morning. It is August the 17th. It's a Thursday, and we are here to look at, normally we're here to look at new releases, but today, since we have already gone through the new releases for this week, I thought we'd start to look at some of the spy versus spy kind of options after we look at the comments. So I appreciate everybody being here. Let us go. Good morning, Mary and everyone. Back in the saddle again, this time on time. You're on time. I was not on time. This is real live Bookie monstering. Happy Thursday. Just one more workday. The week is moving on. I'm ready for it. And I needed to tell that. Morning, Alicia. Duty calls. Yeah, no kidding. And the thing I have to be careful of, why I went out with him, is we are in occasional skunk territory, and I've had 2 previous encounters, not with this dog, but I just don't want to do that ever again. Alrighty. Let's look. Ah, alrighty. We need to go this one. All right. So, um, what I've been kind of talking about, hoping to do this spy versus spy, is that if you think, James Bond or Mission Impossible, things like that, thrillers, the classics, there are options for more than just those. There are humorous spy versus spy. There's kids versus spies, spy versus spy. There's romantic ones. There's all kinds of different ones out there if you want to dip your toes in. All right. Good deal. My 2 corgis. Oh, very cute. Hi, Cajun. Having tomorrow off, so I'm happy to join it. I am so glad you are here. I'm ready for the weekend. No kidding. We are a 5-person office down to 3. So, ugh, I just don't want to do them ever again. So, these are some of the books that I have read that I think qualify. Um, that some I've read, some that I want to read, and so forth. So, I'm going to start with probably the one that got me loving spies and going undercover and stuff, is the Scarlet Pimpernel by Baroness Orczy. Um, and of course, growing up in the 80s, I had that great miniseries with Anthony Andrews and Jane Seymour. And if you are not familiar with the Scarlet Pimpernel, he by regular time he looks like a simpering uh, Regency foppish kind of guy, but truly he is the Scarlet Pimpernel. Actually, it's not Regency; it's prior to that. It's during the French Revolution, and he is rescuing aristocrats from France, and he does it very cleverly, and of course falls in love and all that. So that was my first love. This is not a great cover. There's a better cover, and I just fell in love with that kind of story. That's just me. So, and in honor of that, there is a series out there um, that I think is fantastic. It's by Lauren Willig, who has got me all discombobulated. And the first book is called The Secret History of the Pink Carnation. And there's 12 books in this series. And it is a dual time story. And so we'll just jump in. Nothing goes right for Eloise. The one day she wears her new suede boots, it rains cats and dogs. When the subway stops short, she's always the one thrown into someone's lap, some stranger's lap. Plus, she's had more than her share of misfortune in the way of love. In fact, ever since she realized romantic heroes are a thing of the past, she just decided it's time for a fresh start. Setting off for England, Eloise is determined to finish her dissertation on that dashing pair of spies, the Scarlet Pimpernel and the Purple Gentian. But what she discovers is something the finest historians have missed: the secret history of the Pink Carnation, the most elusive spy of all time. As she works to unmask this obscure spy, Eloise stumbles across answers to all kinds of questions, like how did the Pink Carnation save England from Napoleon? What became of the Scarlet Pimpernel and the Purple Gentian? And will Eloise Kelly escape her bedluck and find a living, breathing hero all her own? And each book is a different flower, a different undercover hero. So you've got The Secret History of the Pink Carnation, and I would recommend starting it with the first book. This one, I think her story continues throughout all 12 books. Each of the heroes' love story is a separate one, kind of mostly. But the second book is The Mask of the Black Tulip, The Deception of the Emerald Ring, The Seduction of the Crimson Rose, The Temptation of the Night Jasmine, The Betrayal of the Blood Lily, The Mischief of the Mistletoe, The Orchid Affair, The Garden Intrigue, The Passion of the Purple Plumeria, The Mask of the Midnight Manzanilla, and The Lure of the Moonflower. And I just really, really love that series and would recommend that. I just love that series. It's a fun one. It's easy to jump into. And if you don't really want to do the classic spy books, they're just great, great, great. If you do want to jump into some classic, well, not classic, but thriller-ish ones, I read this book last year and I inhaled it. It was so fantastic. And I was talking about it everywhere I went, and I wish more people would read it. It's called Alias Emma by Ava Glass, and the second book comes out in September, which kind of um, inspired me to try to encourage more reading of this type of book. It says nothing about Emma Makepeace is real, not even her name. A newly minted secret agent, Emma's barely graduated from basic training when she gets the call for her first major assignment. Eager to serve her country and prove her worth, she dives in head first. Emma must covertly travel across one of the world's most watched cities to bring the reluctant and handsome, oh, that's very secondary, son of Russian dissidents into protective custody, so long as the assassins from the motherland don't find him first. With London's famous Ring of Steel hacked by the Russian government, the two must cross the city without being seen by the hundreds of thousands of CCTV cameras that document every inch of the city's streets, alleys, and gutters. Buses, subways, cars, and trains are out of the question. Traveling on foot and operating without phones or bank cards, they could reveal their location or identity. They have 12 hours to make it to safety. This will take all of Emma's skills of disguise and subterfuge. And when Emma's handler goes dark, there's no one left to trust. And just one wrong move will get them both killed. It was fantastic. Um, the second book that comes out next month is called The Traitor. And it just flies by. It is fantastic. I hope I know it's a pseudonym for another author I can't think of right now, but I just think it's a fantastic story. Also one to dip your toes in if you not sure you like to read this type of story. Think Mission Impossible. Think female James Bond without the gadget. She's just trying to get across London without being seen, being chased by Russians, and she only has 12 hours. It is so good. All right, let's go back to here. I'm going to jump into, speaking of James Bond, we're going to be jumping around in different genres here. We're just going to touch on some things. We'll do again tomorrow. But I'm going to talk about this one. because I found this one during one of the scavenger hunts earlier this year. This is the first book is called SilverFin. It's by Charlie Higson. And there's 9 books in this series. I would consider this young adult. It's for 9 to 12 years, but it's a young James Bond. And it says, before the name became a legend, before the boy became a man, meet Bond, James Bond. James Bond will one day become the world's most famous spy, but right now his challenge is to fit in at his new school, making friends, learning the rules, and standing up to bullies. However, unknown to James, there's an even tougher challenge awaiting him on the remote shores of Loch Silverfin, a terrifying discovery that threatens to unleash a new breed of warfare. For something mysterious and deadly is lurking in the water. Silverfin is the first young Bond adventure. I really enjoyed that too. And it's on Kindle Unlimited if you wanted to give it a try. How did Bond become Bond? All right, let's do some. And speaking of Bond, you can definitely read the classic James Bond. First one is Casino Royale, best movie ever with Daniel Craig by Ian Fleming. Oh, let's go into this one too. Again, we're going to jump around here on my list, but we will look at everything eventually. We will look. All right, I read this one a couple years ago. It's The Rose Code by Kate Quinn. I never used to be into World War II stories. I usually cut off about the 1930s. I love historical mysteries, but my taste usually cut off about the 1930s. This one is in, of course, the 40s. It's during the World War II, and it's about Bletchley Park, which I think is just fascinating. And this says, 1940, as England prepares to fight the Nazis, 3 very different women answer the call to mysterious country estate Bletchley Park, where the best minds in Britain trained to break German military codes. Vivacious debutante Osla is the girl who has everything: beauty, wealth, and the dashing Prince Philip of Greece, that one, sending her roses. But she burns to prove herself as more than a society girl and puts her fluent German to use as a translator of decoded enemy secrets. Imperious self-made Mab, product of East End London poverty, works the legendary code-breaking machines as she conceals old wounds and looks for a socially advantageous husband. Both Osla and Mab are quick to see the potential in local village spinster Beth, whose shyness conceals a brilliant facility for puzzles, and soon Beth spreads her wings as one of the park's few female cryptanalysts. But war, loss, and the impossible pressure of secrecy will tear the 3 apart. And in 1947, as the royal wedding of Princess Elizabeth and Prince Philip whips post-war Britain into a fever, 3 friends turned enemies are reunited by a mysterious encrypted letter, the key to which lies buried in the long-ago betrayal that destroyed their friendship and left one of them confined to an asylum. A mysterious traitor has emerged from the shadows of their Bletchley Park past, and now Osla, Mab, and Beth must resurrect their old alliance and crack one last code together, but each petal they remove from the Rose Code brings danger and their true enemy closer. I read this, my mom read this. It is a really good, I would also consider that spy versus spy. I think it doesn't have to be very strictly necessary. People think maybe Cold War, dry, and so forth, but it doesn't have to be. All right. If you like, let's see, which one should we go to next? Let's go to, there's so many good ones here. We'll jump into one more different kind of genre here. A lot of you probably are familiar with this, but if you want to try manga, that is a huge, huge thing right now. And this is one of the top 10 ones recommended to try is Spy X Family. I call it Spy X Family. Manga, of course, is Japanese graphic novels, shall we say. And it is read from back to front, right to left, which is a little daunting. Um, but this is not one to depend on others. Twilight has his work cut out for him, procuring both a wife and a child for his mission to infiltrate an elite private school. What he doesn't know is that the wife he's chosen is an assassin, and the child he's adopted is a telepath. It is simply a great read, and we're going to jump into the sample here just to give you an idea. It's a quick read. It's a fun read. If you wanted to try manga, this would be a fun one to give a try. I hope so. That's my intention. All right. I'm gonna jump back down to the bottom. Um, let's go into a romance. I have read this one. In the romance genre, spy versus spy can be found a lot in the Regency era. There's a lot of king and queen and country, king and country, Regency, king. This is The Spymaster's Lady by Joanna Bourne, and it's a series of 6. And it says the historical romance that began Joanna Bourne's spectacular Spymaster series. She's never met a man she couldn't deceive until now. She's braved battlefields. She's stolen dispatches from under the noses of heads of state. She played the worldly courtesan, the naive virgin, the refined British lady, even a gypsy boy. But Annick Villiers, the elusive spy known as the Fox Cub, has finally met the one man she can't outwit. And that is reminding me of another series like that. Let's see if I can. And I didn't have it bookmarked here. Yes. This one is a series of 27 books, but there are some novellas being counted in here, so it's not that daunting. This is the Malcolm and Suzanne Rannoch historical mystery. I would call this a spy versus spy because he is an intelligent agent and she has a secret. When intelligent agent Malcolm Rannoch proposes to Suzanne de Saint Vallier, the tumult of the Peninsular War recedes, if only temporarily, for the union may have shattering consequences for the more fragile partnership between Britain and Spain. But meanwhile, let the celebration begin. And this series, one thing about thrillers that's kind of exciting to me in some stories is the different countries they keep jumping to and so forth. So this some books are set in London, in Vienna, in Paris, and I just really which reminds me of another one. Oh my goodness, there's so many. The series by Tasha Alexander. This is the Lady Emily series mysteries. He is also gets into working for Queen and Country. The first one here is And Only to Deceive, and this is more of a, perhaps you can call it an origin story. She is, oh, we're running out of time. There's so much. Anyway, these are just a taste of some of the things. We'll go over these tomorrow again. And then over the next few days, we will be looking at all of these also. Because I'm hoping that we can do this in September. Yep. Got spy school in there. Yes. So, I hope, um, I hope we can get this going amongst our all our groups and stuff because I think it only expands our reading. More things to read, more things to add to our TBR because we need that. Because for God forbid we run out of things to read. I can't wait either. There's some in here that I have not read, so I'm looking forward to having an excuse to have these jump my queue. Um, oh, fantastic! Oh, it's so good. It's such a good book. I love it. Um, so I appreciate you guys tuning in this morning. And we'll be doing reading sprints again tonight at 6:05 p.m. My time, 8:05 Eastern. And we'll go for 2.5 hours. And bring your book, bring a project you want to work on, even if you want to meditate. I keep saying that because it's such nice, peaceful ambient music for a specific period of time, which is what they recommend for meditation. And then tomorrow we'll be back here at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern. I promise whatever's going on with Keo won't happen again. I'm hoping I'll just be sure to take him out. But I hope you have a beautiful Thursday. And hopefully I'll see you this evening. And remember, you don't get good person points if you're reading something you're not liking. It's okay to put it on pause and read something that you do like because reading is fun and we need to be ambassadors for that. So thank you so much, and we'll see you tonight. Bye bye.